I'm going to paint this very calm, serene scene by just wetting down to the horizon. Have all your paints prepared before you put the water on. And then I'm starting at the top and I'm just overlapping, going down. If you don't find that's just going to go over that very quickly. It's not as deep as I would like. And then I'm going to clean the brush so it's damp and clean, there's no colour on it. And then I'm just going to keep on going down, overlapping to the horizon. And I'm going to add a little bit of Raw Sienna wash. Just going to go just one stripe from the bottom, clean the brush, and then keep going up so that it actually blends together. And then I'm going to let it dry. I'm just going to add some yellowish trees here. I'm going to put on some dark accent shadows afterwards. I'm using the small brush going up, and then I'm swapping to a Chinese brush because I want more control. And I don't want to go over this trunk. So I'm just going to bleed that into the yellow and then dampen the brush, fade that down, add a little bit of darker green for the ultramarine and Raw Sienna. And the light is all coming from the right to the left, so you want the shadows on the left just going across. You can just do some ripples. I wouldn't do too much though. We're going to put a very, very light wash of Raw Sienna across the rocks. Add a few areas of variation because it's a little bit darker here. And then the trunk as well because this is lighter. And I'm going to use a rigger brush for the smaller branches, but I just want to create that light on the side. With a small brush, I'm taking a light green and a mix of lemon yellow and ultramarine. So I can just map in some of this foliage and go across it using this tiny side of the brush. Or in a dry brush, using the dry brush technique in a sideways roll, kind of going up. You can take off excess if you so wish. I'm obviously going to make this darker, but actually this is quite a good way to map in the green. And then when I want to make it darker, add some more ultramarine, dry brush technique, and go underneath. So the shadows will be underneath clumps of foliage to put it in a undelicate way. I'm going to put the shadow of the other branches on after I've done this, just in case you were wondering. And now this dark foliage goes quite nicely up here. And you can add little bits where you need to. And then take a burnt sienna and ultramarine to make a dark brown. I'm going to add a little bit of the trunk on the side between the leaves and break that up. And then I'm going to take the rigger brush and just add some little branches. Not too many, you don't have to do too much. And then I'm using the same brown to start to put in these cracks in the rock. Don't overdo it. I'm not going to put in as many as I'm seeing here. I'm just going to idea of cracked rocks basically. Adding a little bit more blue with a wash here, a little bit of reflection here and there. Add a little bit more depth if you so want. Certain accents. adding a bit more blue. With a rigger brush I'm doing this. I might have a little bit of blue on the sides of the trunk, which I think looks quite nice. She makes it stand out. So if you want it to stand out, that's a personal choice. If you want it to be a little bit more forward and pushing that forward. Also, I think there's a little bit more blue here, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue later. I'm going to take a stiff bristle brush and I'm going to use this just to create some more texture, especially up here. So do try with different brushes because everybody will have different brushes. These are old oil or acrylic brushes, and it gives nice texture. It's quite thick here, so. And then it adds a little bit more depth to it. And last but not least, I'm just going to add a little bit more blue to the sea to bring that out just a little bit. And there you have it. A nice peaceful scene